Trini. A San Fernando story. San Fernando Moon and Malik Moonlight Part 1. We moved from San Fernando to join the squatters in 7th Avenue, Barataria, and, we were proud, new homeowners in the emerging Malik settlement. A successful crop of sorrel was seen as a great accomplishment among members of the community. The settlers hoped to be recognized as farmers, and not squatters. They wanted to be respected, and to be treated better than the squatters at the Beetham landfill and those at the Beetham settling ponds to the southeast. In San Fernando, the moonlight seemed to cover everything with a thin coat of shiny, silvery light. Sando, I sometimes imagined myself skating on the moonlight, with only my bare feet. I felt that I could glide from our house, on Cooper Street, all the way down to Clare Street, like I did during the day on my canal cart. The moonlight seemed different in Malik. We were gathered under the glow of a beautiful full moon, but we were not about to enjoy the beautiful scenery. We were preparing to pick as much sorrel as we could, before sunrise. We wore gloves, to protect our hands from the prickly hairs on the sorrel buds, known as celias. Those almost invisible hairs were very painful to the touch, and we had to be careful of touching them with our bare hands. We used knives and scissors to cut the tough stems, which held the buds to the branches. The night air was warm, but there were periods when cool breezes drifted down from the mountains further north, along the northern range. While the warm air between the sorrel plants occasionally gave way to the cool breezes from the mountain, the moon played a game of hide and seek with a few strips of dark clouds. A few rogue clouds found the moon. Their intent was to spoil the perfect lighting condition we enjoyed. Before these clouds covered the moon, we snatched the sorrel buds, cut them off the branches, and threw them into our crocus bags. The silver lining of moonlight lit up the sorrel buds, and seemed to soak into the ground. The cool light flashed between each plant, and when it found our feet, it made our dusty toes glisten. The field of sorrel plants stood out like tall, black stalks, every time the moonlight was interrupted. During those times, we were unable to select the mature buds from the branches. We still had a deadline to meet, because Mr. Dowlatt was expected to arrive by 6 a.m., to collect the bags of sorrel. Mr. Dowlatt was the president of the Sorrel Planters Association, in the farming community of Ragunanan Road, in Canapia. He was the official wholesale sorrel broker. He sold the sorrel in bulk to the Cannings Company, which operated a factory on the eastern main road. The cannery produced the sorrel-flavored Cannings Tall 12, a very popular soft drink. We had picked sorrel by moonlight before, so we were prepared for the dance between the clouds and the full moon. We had portable lighting. We each carried a flambeau. It was made from a discarded solo bottle, filled with kerosene, and a piece of cotton cloth, which was twisted into the top of the bottle, to function as a wick. It was difficult to hold the flambeau, pick the sorrel buds, and keep the crocus bag open at the same time. Therefore, each sorrel picker had to develop a style, and a cadence to get the job done. The only sound was the rustling of the sorrel leaves as we wrestled the green and red buds from the trees. We heard what sounded like a low groaning sound, like a cow very far off in the distance. At the same time there was an odor of smoke in the air. A few people raised their heads and looked around. It appeared like someone had dropped a flambeau, because there was a large column of smoke and flames rising above the treetops. The low groaning sound became a very loud blood-curdling scream. Help! Help! Oh my God, help! We quickly realized that the fire was not among the sorrel pickers, but it was in a nearby wharf house. That was the name given to houses built with discarded wooden shipping containers salvaged from the Port of Spain wharfs. Miss Millie's house was totally engulfed in flames, and it seemed like someone was trapped inside and was shouting for help. To be continued.